I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. As a trans man, I fucking hate MRAs. I hate them so fucking much. Yeah, a lot of people do. Get in line. They're so utterly wrong. How so? And it makes my skin crawl that they take over conversations about serious issues facing men that feminism actually addresses. Have you forgotten about male tears? You people make me laugh. Name one legitimate men's issue that feminists as a whole have tried to tackle. Just one. Because then the whole thing just devolves into a shitstorm and no real conversation happens. Welcome to feminism. Population, you. I can also say without a doubt as a person who has had to live in both worlds and is still working my way out of one, that men are privileged as hell. You're funny. My clothes are cheaper now, they're functional and warm. Okay, and? I get more respect from family members. Oh, please. There are plenty of men who don't get any respect. It has nothing to do with gender, but it might have something to do with you. And when people don't know I'm trans, the way they talk to me is completely different. And you're surprised about this. Men and women are both humans, but they're different, so of course people are going to talk to them differently. I get to be gross and burp and lounge around and take up as much space as I want. A lot of people don't like it when men do those things either. I get to talk as much as I want. What does this have to do with gender? I'm seen as tougher in general. That's because you have to be tougher! Christ! You have not lived as a man for very long, have you? See, this is the thing that annoys me about you people, and unfortunately it's mostly women who do this. You assume that you know how men think, feel, act, and live when you don't, and it's annoying. Stop it! Why don't you actually try to understand a man's perspective before you judge it? Try walking a mile in our shoes for a change. Sorry. Anyway, getting back to your comment, people see men as suffer because, as I said before, they have to be. If you want to be of use to society as a man, not being tough is not a fucking choice. Men are the providers and protectors of women and children. So how can they do those things if they don't have the mental fortitude to do so? Being a man is not as easy as you think it is. Not even close. Even though I'm a fucking squeamish pansy. At least we can agree on that. No, I'm playing, but seriously, you don't know much about living as a man. You simply don't. You think it's easy now? Wait until people start treating you as a utility without feelings. I get away with so much more shit than I did when people assumed I was a girl. I really want to know where you live, because men are almost always held more accountable for their actions than women are. And that is utter bullshit, because nothing else has changed but a name and my clothes. And your gender. Why are you so surprised? You know what? Let's move on before I lose my temper. The following comments from this one user were supposed to be parts of a thread, but most of the replies to her comments have been deleted. Fortunately, that still leaves us with a goldmine of stupid comments. Thank you. I'm so glad someone finally got the balls to point males out for their own shit. As I mentioned before, people do that almost all the time. There isn't one time where men are not held accountable for their actions. Feminism is claimed to be anti-male by many misogynistic people, so what makes it so bad if it's said the other way around? It's because the MRM doesn't hate women, while feminism hates men. Oh, that's right, because heaven forbid that people actually behave like everyone is treated equally, like our country claims it is. Try telling the feminists that. Female oppression does exist. No, it does not, no matter how much you want it to happen. And I'm so glad that the man has acknowledged this. We need more men in the feminist movement, otherwise no other males are ever going to listen. Oh, you'll have to forgive me if I don't like being a self-loathing male who's a potential rapist that needs to stop oppressing women. You know, feminists fascinate me. They say the most batshit insane things about men, and expect them to be fine with it. Hey, you're an oppressor privileged shitlord, stop oppressing me and help other men stop oppressing me. If these things were said about women or black people, everyone would be angry, and rightfully so. It just goes to show you that being complete jackasses towards men is normal in our society. No, men don't have to deal with similar issues. Do men have to worry about giving birth to a baby that was conceived through rape? No. And I have to wonder, how often does that happen? You people like to say that rape is some phenomenon that happens very frequently and almost exclusively to women, but where's your proof? Do men have to worry about being beaten by their partner if they become angry? Rarely. Citation needed. It's just like he said in the video. Any men who support the so-called men's movement only do so to help their bruised ego. Ooh, a shaming tactic. I totally haven't heard one of those in a long time. Grow up, please. And why would you comment multiple times on something that I never even responded to you in, and which never included you in the first place? I guess trolls have to stick their noses to where it doesn't belong just to start drama. Like I said earlier to the other jerk, good luck being forever alone, and have a nice life, asshole. Another shaming tactic. Wonderful. Women have more issues to deal with than men because they are suppressed. No, they are not. The only men who are suppressed in any way are men of other races. What is it with you people and white men? Did they do something to earn such racist and sexist remarks? That is why I feel what you feel and what is are two completely different things. That's the problem with feminists. Most of them cannot differentiate between the two. So with them, it's feelings. All the damn time. The men's rights movement is BS because they already have all the rights. Name me one right that men have and women don't. Just one, and I want a legitimate answer. This is a question that feminists have failed to answer, which casts doubts on their whole oppression narrative. And Huggin, your first three facts are BS, and men are not forced into parenthood. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. No, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If a woman wants a child but a man doesn't, she can force him to pay for it. But if a man wants a child but the woman doesn't, she can force him to fund her abortion. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So yes, there are men who are forced into parenthood. Man could do the exact same thing to a woman when he divorces her. Yes, and then he'll have to pay alimony. God, you're ignorant. So, really, you have no argument. Your theory is invalid on many levels. You know what? I think that feminists should make a sport out of projection. They're really good at it. The evidence I've been given about this debate that has tried to accept the men's movement has been full of crap. Like your comments? The evidence that the guy tried to comments earlier is all crap because I've learned a lot in sociology classes that says very clearly otherwise. And isn't it interesting how those classes are tainted by feminist theory? You know, I feel so bad for her because instructors are forcing feminist dogma down her throat. It's sad. Why are you making me out to be the bad guy when I'm not the one going under other people's comments trying to start unnecessary drama? And you obviously have not had the lovely privilege of experiencing assholes on the internet. The way they work isn't to go to YouTube videos to broaden their minds on social issues. It's to target and belittle people you don't know while hiding behind a faceless photo and an anonymous name so they can belittle people to boost their own ego. Anything that does not go with their opinion is automatically wrong, and they have no problem with trying to tell you such. So keep trying to paint me as a bad guy if you want, but if so, then I'm done with this convo because I have a life to get back to that's way beyond this BS of someone trying to point out flaws in me when there are way worse people out there in the world. Yeah, whatever. People like you are what's wrong with the feminist movement. Then you two must have a lot in common. And that's my point. People who argue against the feminist movement are why it hasn't been able to be socially accepted. Yeah, sure, that's why. It's totally not because the movement itself is completely nonsensical. People who assume feminists to be extremists who just want to destroy all males when feminism is really about wanting equality to men for women. Yes, I've heard all this before. You sound like a broken record. For women to not be viewed and used as a sex object, but to be valued for their minds and respected in their opinions instead of treated like property. You don't really know what objectification is, do you? I'm not surprised. Feminists like throwing around terms in ways that have nothing to do with their meanings. Anyone who does not agree that women should be treated with respect and dignity, those people are what's wrong with the feminist movement, and they are why women are still sexually objectified as a common thing, why women are blamed when they are raped, and so many other ways that women are still socially suppressed in society all across the globe. I'm not what's wrong with the movement because I support women being respected and dignified. So if you aren't one of those people who believes women should be respected and dignified, then yes, you are part of the problem. Okay, I know that you've never questioned feminist theory before, but just think about it for a second. Exactly how are women being dehumanized in society? I'm seriously struggling to see how women are being treated as second-class citizens compared to men. Society, let alone men, does not hate women and will never hate women. You have a victim complex that has got to go. So you're for gender equality. If you're really for gender equality, then you would know a lot more about the struggles women have to deal with instead of just for men. You know, I could say the same thing about feminists like you. If you would have really paid attention to what the definition of feminism was that I stated, you would know that gender equality is what feminism is. Please stop appealing to the definition. It doesn't matter what feminism calls itself if its actions are inconsistent. Women are treated differently and worse than men. Another lie. Men can go out to bars with their friends and not have to worry about a stranger trying to rape them. Men can walk around alone at night and not have to worry about someone trying to sexually harass them or rape them. And you know this how? Have you ever even talked to a man about such experiences, or are you just making these assumptions again? I'm serious, have feminists ever even talked to a man about their experiences? Women are blamed for rape, in that when a woman is raped, the first few questions people wonder or ask are, what was she wearing? Who was she with? Did she tell him no or stop? Why did she go to his place if she didn't want to have sex? If she didn't want to have sex, why did she make out with him or not tell him to stop? All of these questions are blaming the victim instead of focusing on the real issues, that she was raped. Because God forbid people act skeptical about accusations as serious as rape. Please stop letting your feelings cloud your judgment. If you know people who genuinely blame rape victims, then by all means, find better people to be around. If you are really about gender equality, you will know all these things. You have no right to say if women are not suppressed because you have never experienced these things that women have to face, sometimes almost every day. Oh, okay then. I can just as easily say, if you are really about gender equality, you will know about all of men's issues. You have no right to say if men are not suppressed because you have never experienced these things that men have to face, sometimes almost every day. The lack of self-awareness in this comment is truly astounding. There are plenty of cases where women, pretty or not, have not gotten justice for being raped because they weren't believed, and most if not all those questions were the focus of the investigation. The fact that you actually think some of those questions are actually worth asking in rape cases shows that your mindset is part of the problem. Okay, I know that this is hard for you to grasp, but extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Therefore, if a rape victim lacks evidence for a claim, then the rapist can't be charged. It's as simple as that. Yes, men get raped, more often by other men. That doesn't mean that it isn't a problem. And you haven't provided a citation. Women are raped a whole lot more often than men. That is why it should be focused more than male rape. And women raping men is an even smaller percentage of that small statistic. I don't need a citation for that. Again. And that doesn't mean that it isn't a problem. Again. Unless you want me to tell black people that black-on-black crime isn't a problem, right? You're not for gender equality, you just feel threatened because men aren't included in certain situations and you don't want to lose your dominant place in society, so you try and say, well, what about men? I say the same thing about feminists. Yeah, what about them? Men have everything else going for them. Why do they need control and dominance in another aspect of the society that already puts them in a more favorable position? Oh yes, because being legally discriminated against in education and the workplace, having your genitals mutilated before you can even speak, being forced into parenthood, and having to sign up for selective service, all put men in a more favorable position. Girl, if you think that women are oppressed, then you don't know what oppression is. And you don't. First of all, thank you for commenting in a respectful manner. It's a nice breath of fresh air. However, if it appears that I'm saying women are helpless victims, that is not my intent. That doesn't mean that you didn't do it. I suppose it may seem that way since in these comments, I've had to try and argue ways that women are suppressed in society, only to have multiple people try and disprove me. Because you're wrong. So then I am forced to come up with more instances where women are suppressed by men in society. And not a single one of them was valid. Next! Women can be wonderful creatures when people allow them to speak and act freely and don't try to sexually harass them or try and control them. What society on earth does this to women? I seriously want to know! Males have a place in society that places them above women on many platforms. Citation needed. It disadvantages women to where they have had to fight for decades for certain rights that males simply had bestowed upon them and don't even think about on a regular basis, but women think about it and are reminded of it every day. You still haven't answered the question, what rights do men have that women don't? You know, I would love if there was one day where women had to walk a mile in men's shoes, because most of them would hate it. But at least there are some women who understand what men go through. That's what I was trying to explain in all my previous comments, but obviously certain people were not hearing that. Then you'll have to forgive them for seeing reality as it actually is. Ideologies are what you make them. Every group has its idiots. That describes 99% of feminism as a movement, though. I'm not saying that most feminists are stupid. I'm saying that most of the movement is silly. And it is. You are right on. Thank you so much for speaking up. Keep it up. MRM is a terrorist organization, a hate group against women. Caps lock. Really? The MRM have sent me rape threats, death threats, even suicide instructions just because in my YouTube profile I say that I am a compassionate, peace-loving feminist. And anytime, anywhere, I leave a little helpful positive comment on YouTube mentioning anything in support of feminism or in happy support of another equality-loving feminist, sexist insults are thrown at me, and then come the rape threats again, and the death threats again. Evidence or it didn't happen, I'm not in the mood to hear any conspiracy theories about the MRM from you people. They are convinced feminists hate men and are determined to do to men what men have historically done to women since the dawn of history. You know, feminists say the darndest things. They are psychotic, pot, meat kettle, when all we want is for the assault and sexism to end, and that will never happen as long as bad people exist. Why don't you people actually, I don't know, choose targets that you can actually hit? Maybe then people will take your movement more seriously. Until then, stop creating subjective goals that can't be attained. We just truly want to be treated as equals, no better, no worse. No, you don't. You only like the idea of equality. If you were ever to be treated just like a man, you would hate it. Of course, you can prove me wrong, but I doubt you will. Women are so pampered nowadays that most of them don't even want to give up all of that wonderful privilege, but still have the audacity to think that they're oppressed. Yeah, no. The men's rights movement followers not right in the head. Pot, meat kettle again. They can't just threaten women's lives in massive groups like a mad mob. You know, I'm struggling to see where and when any MRAs have done any of this stuff. It makes me cling to feminism for dear life just to save the next generation from their wild hatred towards women. I even get harassed for spelling my own gender with a Y. They actually think they have the right to name me and tell me what my womanhood should be. That's totally why you get criticism for that. Go take your silly conspiracy theories somewhere else. I would never tell a man what his manhood should be, nor how to spell it, after me. Oh, is that why Naomi Wolf once used the term positive masculinity to describe men who help women with their issues? I thought so. It's like a gathering of broken hearts from exes they want revenge on, and men who were neglected or abused by their mothers. Shaming tactics again. You people really love to throw those out. I wish they would listen to us speak when feminists stop getting in the way of MRAs by interrupting and ruining their events and conferences. You'll find that MRAs will actually give you a chance to speak to them. Until then, tell your feminist friends to stop harassing MRAs. We want equality with you guys. That's a wonderful concept. If you're referring to legal equality, sure. Thank you for being brave in spite of their onslaught of attacks. You know, I said the same thing to Lauren Southern when a bunch of feminists attacked her and her cameraman after she held up a sign at a feminist slut walk that said there is no rape culture in the West. Do you people ever take accountability for your actions? It's not that hard.